What are you still doing here, old man?
I'm gonna fuck you.
Man, are you...
Dad?
The film centers on Hutch Mansell, a man living a routine and uneventful life. It begins with him in an interrogation room, injured and being questioned by police about recent events. The story then shifts to the past, showing his ordinary daily life with his wife, Becca, and their two children, Blake and Sammy. His predictable routine continues until a significant event disrupts it. At home, Hutch receives little respect from his family except for his daughter Sammy, who still admires him. This dynamic is linked to his modest income, unremarkable job, and lack of notable achievements. Despite his efforts to fulfill his role as a husband and father, he is met with indifference. Over time, this ongoing disregard contributes to a sense of stagnation and an inability to change how he is perceived. One night, Hutch wakes to a noise and discovers intruders in the house. A burglar points a gun at him as his son Blake restrains one of the thieves.
I said let him go. Let him go, son.
Hutch instructs Blake to release him, allowing the burglars to escape. Before leaving, one of them strikes Blake. The incident reinforces his family's perception of Hutch as ineffective and unable to protect them. Hutch's response to the burglary becomes widely known in his community, leading to criticism and ridicule. He is viewed as weak for allowing the intruders to escape after Blake was harmed. His brother-in-law Charlie also expresses disapproval and gives Hutch a gun, urging him to better protect his family. Hutch meets his father-in-law Eddie to discuss buying out the company, but Eddie rejects the initial offer and requests a higher price. Under pressure, Hutch contacts his foster brother Harry through a hidden radio in his office. He explains the previous night's break-in and states that he deliberately chose not to retaliate, recognizing the burglars' desperation. Hutch concludes that the intruders were a desperate couple, as they took only a small amount of cash and carried an unloaded handgun. Based on this, he chose not to resist during the break-in. After work, he visits his father, David, at a nursing home. Upon returning home, Hutch pauses at the door, observing his family. Inside, Becca and Blake ignore him due to lingering resentment over the previous incident. His daughter Sammy approaches him and asks for help finding her missing cat-shaped bracelet, which she believes was taken during the break-in. Hutch returns to the nursing home, borrows his father's rifle, and begins searching for the thieves using a tattoo he noticed on one of them. He sketches the tattoo and visits several tattoo shops. At one shop, his presence draws attention, and after a man approaches him with appreciation, the attitude of others shifts to respect. Hutch locates the thieves' home and confronts them, demanding the return of his daughter's bracelet. Before acting, he hears a child crying and realizes they are caring for a sick child, prompting him to leave.
Please.
On his way home by bus, a group of intoxicated men boards and begins harassing passengers. Hutch asks the bus driver to stop and confronts the group of men who are harassing a young woman. He returns home with visible injuries, and Becca tends to him. During this time, Hutch recognizes the distance that has developed between him and his family since the break-in and decides to address it. The scene shifts to Yulian Kuznetsov, a Russian crime boss at a nightclub. He oversees a money laundering operation that handles funds for other mob groups. Yulian some associates question his reliability and begin planning to bypass him by managing the transactions independently. At the nightclub, Yulian kills a man in front of others to assert control. Shortly after, he is informed that his younger brother Teddy has been hospitalized in a coma after a violent assault. The attacker is identified as Hutch, who had previously confronted Teddy on the bus. Yulian and his men go to the hospital and question Teddy's associates to identify the attacker. They obtain Hutch's business card from one of the thugs. The next morning, Hutch receives a call from Harry, who warns him that one of the men from the bus incident is the brother of a dangerous crime boss. Harry then directs Hutch to meet the barber to learn more about the syndicate. During a meeting with the barber, Hutch learns details about Yulian Kuznetsov and his criminal operations, while remaining prepared to face the consequences of his actions. At the same time, Yulian uses Hutch's business card to investigate him and uncovers records of a violent and highly effective past, marked by consistently successful and decisive missions. After obtaining the information, she reports to Detective Julian and withdraws from the case due to safety concerns.
No need to pay. Good luck.
That night, in retaliation for his brother's assault, Julian sends a team led by Pavel to capture Hutch at his home. Anticipating the threat, Hutch moves his family to the basement and instructs them to remain calm and avoid contacting authorities. When Julian's men enter the house, Hutch attacks and disables most of them, but Pavel subdues him with a stun gun and captures him. While restrained in a vehicle, Hutch regains control, frees himself, and uses a fire extinguisher to impair the driver. The vehicle crashes into a ravine, killing Pavel and the remaining men. After returning home, Hutch brings his family out of the basement, and they find the house in disarray with multiple bodies inside. He instructs his wife to stay with the children while he handles the situation. After securing valuable assets, including gold bars from his past work, Hutch spreads gasoline throughout the house and sets it on fire to eliminate evidence. Meanwhile, Julian sends 2 assassins to kill Hutch's father, David, at the nursing home, but David defeats them. Afterward, Hutch meets with Eddie and completes the purchase of his company using the gold bars he had secured. Charlie attempts to attack Hutch, but is quickly subdued. After learning that Pavel and his men have been killed, Julian orders his entire force to eliminate Hutch. Anticipating retaliation, Hutch prepares for the confrontation and targets the location where Julian's organization stores its cash. After eliminating the guards at the storage site, Hutch sets fire to Julian's cash and art collection. He then goes to the nightclub to confront Julian and threatens him with a claymore mine. Hutch offers a settlement stating he will spare Julian if he stays away from him and his family. Hutch informs Julian that he has destroyed the mafia's cash and urges him to leave his criminal activities. He then exits the nightclub and waits in his car with the claymore mine. Rejecting the truce, Julian orders his men to pursue Hutch and prevent his escape.
Do nothing stupid.
Julian and his men track Hutch to the factory he purchased from Eddie. There, Hutch is joined by David and Harry, who assist in the confrontation. Together, they use weapons and prearranged traps to eliminate the attackers. Hutch, David, and Harry eliminate the remaining attackers, leaving only Julian, while Harry is wounded. Hutch uses a claymore mine to kill Julian. After ensuring David and Harry are safe, Hutch surrenders when police arrive and is taken into custody. In the interrogation room, authorities review the scene where numerous gang members have been killed and Hutch admits responsibility. During the interrogation, both officers receive a call that changes their response. They look toward Hutch with surprise, and he is subsequently released without charges. Before he leaves, one officer asks about his identity, and Hutch identifies himself as nobody.
Nobody.
Hutch Mansell, known as an auditor, is revealed to be a highly skilled assassin, once trusted by intelligence agencies. During a mission, he chose to spare a target, later finding the man living peacefully with a family. This influenced Hutch's decision to retire and pursue a normal life, despite opposition from his superiors. 3 months later, while searching for a new home with Becca, Hutch receives a call indicating his services are still required. In a mid-credits scene, Harry and David are shown traveling in an RV filled with weapons toward an unknown destination. The possibility of Hutch returning to his former work remains unresolved,